Hello? Alright, can you hear me now? You guys got me now? I think you guys got me now. Let me know. I think you guys can hear me now, right? I think you guys can. I just fixed it. Sometimes this software is very, very, very screwy. So, excuse the delay, but I hope you guys can hear me now. It's coming through. Very good. Very good, Alexandra. Very good. So, we're going to wait a little bit for people to come in, but just tell me, guys, how's your week been? It's been a rather interesting week for me. This is the precursor to finals week, or essentially this is finals week for me. I'm supposed to be studying right now because these are my 2 days to study, but the best thing is I only have two finals and both of them are at the end of this week. So they're at like next Saturday and next Sunday. So I'm going to study for them, but I'm basically embracing the calm before the storm. I find that it is a very important principle that one should embrace the solitude that they have at any given time, the solitude of mind. Because I say solitude of mind because it's very important to understand. And Emerson understood this back in whenever he was 1800s or whatever. Emerson understood this. The solitude of mind is the sort of bulwark, the sort of shield that keeps you sane because your mind is constantly interacting with so many different forces in the world as you go throughout life. And so if you don't have solitude of mind, your very being, your peace, your ability to stay stable can be assailed, it can be attacked, it can be chipped away. So I'm enjoying my solitude of mind right now. I think the biggest problem with a lot of college students is that they don't understand the concept of having solitude of mind. Excuse me. They don't understand that. They let everything come in. They put their shields down and let every single thing come in and just overtake their senses. And that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing, actually. But I'm having that solitude of mind and I'm enjoying my time here with you guys. So, and I don't do streams nearly enough as I should. So I'm just checking in. We're going to chat for about an hour. Again, if you guys want to interact with me, you can interact with me through the chat. You can, send me a super chat if you'd like, if you'd be so obliged. And I will be here and I'll be responding to your stuff. And we'll just have a jolly old good time now, won't we? So, yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I'm having the solitude of mind that I talked about. And, I'm just taking it easy. What did... Lionel Richie has a good song. I'm not sure you guys are old enough, or young enough to know who Lionel Richie. I'm not sure you guys are old enough to know who Lionel Richie is, although he's pretty popular. But it's called. Well, it's not really Lionel Richie's song. It's actually a song from the Commodores, and it goes, "I'm easy like Sunday morning." Well, that's kind of how I feel right now. I'm just going easy, man. I'm going easy. Stoicism is not a bad thing entirely. I think that it can be very helpful if one is prone to stress. The problem is taking Stoicism to its logical end, which is a complete and utter isolation and cutting off from the broader world. Well, I've not mastered it either, Alexandra. I have not mastered it either. I've not mastered it either. I mean, I'm stumped. I'm trying. Look, I don't think anyone really masters that. Even if you were to be the most isolated human being possible, there's still there's still non-sentient material forces that are at work in the world. There's still weather. There's still the geological conditions of the earth. There's still all kind of things that escape normal mere human interaction that can weigh on your mind. I mean, the mind is just constantly assailed, either in the natural world or the social world, by so many different things. And that can really take us outside of ourselves in a good way, but then convert and invert that necessity of taking us outside of ourselves and fill us with so many things that do not better our highest good. Fill us with fear, fill us with strife, fill us with all kind of negative emotions. So you have to know when to isolate, when to go into solitude, and when to go back into the social world. Emerson said in his essay on solitude and society that you should not be isolated from everyone all the time, but you should have enough introspection that you can pull back from the forces of society, and then when you're ready to go back to them, but go back with your own garb. Wear your own garb. Don't dress in the garb of someone else. Don't dress in the garb that you think you've been given by society. And this, I think, includes emotions as well. Don't dress in that emotional garb that you think you're meant to bear, either because of your profession, your obligations, your relationships. Again, you have to make sure that you are at the center of every single interaction that you have in this world. Because again, without this body, without this vessel here, what happens? If this doesn't work, what happens? You can't do anything else in this world. This is quite literally the vessel for you to have any kind of impact on this earth, in society on any level. You have to take care of your ship. You have to take care of your vessel. That's how I see it, at least. So yeah, no. I don't think any of us master that, Alexandra. I think that some people can get close, I guess, but even then, they're still assailed by things. I think human existence is nothing more than, well, I'm not going to say that. Human existence is made complete, I think, by this constant struggle for one's own peace. Right. Anyway, so yeah, look, again, I don't really stream, as I mentioned, but I hope that we can have a good conversation here. I hope that more people come in, because look, I like streaming. I like streaming. I don't mind it at all. I love streaming. I just choose not to do it very often because, well, I think pre-recorded videos allow me to polish up my presentation a little bit. Plus, there's not the internet issue, and I can be more. I think it could even be more interactive in those kind of instances. But yeah, so Benjamin Boyce, I had a conversation, a very fruitful conversation, might I say, with Benjamin Boyce yesterday. We talked for about, Benjamin Boyce and I talked for about, I don't know, an hour and a half, which is actually pretty short for a Benjamin Boyce interview. His interviews have gone on for 3 to 4 hours before, even longer than that. And so Benjamin Boyce and I had a nice conversation the other day, and it's going to go up either today or tomorrow. And I am just, again, I am so elated for you guys to be able to see that. I'm so elated. Because, again, Benjamin Boyce is nothing more, I think, than a conduit. Now, he's more than that, but he is primarily, I think, in this space, a conduit for very good and thought-provoking and edifying conversations about everything, from the human condition to our political condition, everything. Benjamin Boyce is nothing short of a cut above excellence. So I can't sing his praises enough, and I'm very happy that he invited me to go on his channel, to go on his platform. So I look forward to being able to share all of that with you guys. How many of you here watch Benjamin Boyce? And for all of you lurkers there, because I do see you lurkers, please say something. I don't mind. I want to talk to you guys. I want to be a part of your weekend, so please say something. I'm here, and I'm ready to rumble. Do. Yes, Mr. Frosted Slime. Big W. Oh, what is... Ooh, thank you for sharing your wisdom. I can't... Aw, thank you so much, Alexandra. That's blessing. Did you hear about Carlin's debate club? Ooh. No, I did not. Carlin's debate club. I did not. What's she do? What's Carlin up to? Look, I love Carlin. I think we were talking a few days ago about the issue of balance as it relates to political positions. Because Carlin has really criticized the idea of being too middle of the road, of not understanding where you stand in relation to certain issues because you want to be compromised or you want to be someone who is adored by everyone. So, and I think she's right. I think she's right. I think that she's totally right. I think, and this is the problem that I've always had with Aristotle and people who are just slavish towards Aristotle. Uh, Look, the middle of the road is not everything. In fact, the middle of the road, the problem with the middle of the road is that A, I don't really know where the road goes. That's number one. Number two, the middle of the road tells me nothing about the inherent value of the two propositions that it's weighed against. The middle of the road is simply a mechanism that ideally should come after one has accrued enough information about the two values that the middle of the road is in between. So let's say I have justice on one side and I have injustice on the other side. Well, obviously, either one of those things has their own moral qualities. I think the Aristotelian would say, okay, no, let's not be too extreme here. Let's just go in the middle. What might this be? What might this say? How can we use this for a well-balanced life? But the problem is, if I know that justice is the only morally correct answer in that equation, why in the world would I want to be in the middle of anything? Why wouldn't I want to simply be all for justice? All the time. If I understand ethical and moral correctness, then why the hell am I going to be in the middle of the road? This is the problem of the political moderate. The political moderate is a ever-changing form of like political Plato. A political moderate is typically like Plato. Not the Greek philosopher, Plato, that is shifted and changed and contorted to whatever circumstance it's in. And that, I guess, works sometimes simply for executing a collaborative form of government. But it does not work in standing for moral righteousness. It does not work in standing for things, propositions, that are known to be true or that can be deduced to be true through reason. It does not work for anything meaningful and permanent. It is eternal transience. Eternal transience. Our politics today is a story of an eternal transience. Now, the moderates get attacked a lot, but I do think that those attacks typically come from people who want to differentiate themselves from the moderates, rather than people who actually want to seriously look at the idea of being a moderate in the scope of how it interacts with moral propositions within our political system. What do I mean by that? Our political system is nothing more, than a statement, a structured manifestation of morals and values. You don't believe me? Why are there laws against murder? Well, because a moral proposition somehow made its way into the structure of the government and is now manifesting its consequence with that law against murder. Why are there laws against theft? Well, again, a moral proposition which values property has made its way into the political system and is now manifesting itself through that law against theft. Okay. In China, why are there laws that block Google? Well, because a moral proposition, or perhaps an immoral proposition, made its way into the system that states a certain value of censorship, and that value is manifested through a certain kind of law. You guys see how this works? We think of politics so much as simply mundane fights over public interests. And in a certain sense, politics is that. But politics is not simply a mundane struggle of public interest against another public interest in a collaborative body. Politics is a contest of spiritual values that have already been cemented deep into the structure of the state and are now manifesting in the discourses and the debates surrounding the state. Do you guys hear what I'm saying to you right now? This is some stuff that people don't say enough, and it grinds my gears, because this idea really influences how one sees politics in action. If you see politics as simply a composition of public interests, then you'll simply weigh politics on that level, and you'll never get to the deeper meaning of what politics actually is. Never. Never. This is what I mean when I say we have to connect the political with the human and the human with the political. This is precisely what I mean. This is precisely what I mean. I'm doing too much for you guys today. You guys are like, Christian, it's a weekend. I'm trying to relax. I get it. I get it. I'm doing too much right now. But no, I mean, this is just going through my week, looking at the coverage of major political events is one of the most harrowing things ever. From either, I don't care who it's from. I don't care who it's from. I don't care if it's from any media company on either side. I don't care where it's from. It's harrowing. Because they simply interact with politics on a single dimension. One-dimensional politics. But you can't interact with a 3 or 4 or 5-dimensional concept with a one-dimensional lens. You can't do that. It eschews logic. Well, actually, you can, but you shouldn't. So yeah, that's basically all politics is. The manifestation of spiritual values that is typically ignored by people when they discourse about the consequences of those values, i.e. public interests. That's all politics is, man. That's all it is. A lot of people don't get that though. It's odd, man. It's odd. But yeah, no. So, yeah, I mean, now it's interesting. So, I want you guys' advice on this. So, I do a podcast called Pensive Politics. And basically what Pensive Politics typically is, it is just me sitting, talking about politics and philosophy for like 49 minutes. I find that when I do these live streams, I don't even feel like it's been 21 minutes so far. I don't feel like it's been 21 minutes at all. When I'm doing my podcast, I do feel that it's been 49 minutes. Should I simply make my live streams my podcasts? Because I think that might be a tenable way of condensing everything. Because I know most of you guys probably haven't even heard, like maybe you've heard of my podcast, but you don't watch it or listen to it. And I don't blame you because I don't really promote it that much. Or a lot of folks think that my podcast is my YouTube channel, which is not the case anymore. It used to be, kind of, sort of, not anymore. So, I want exposure for the Pensive Politics brand, but I also want, I want people to actually enjoy that exposure. Because I know. No. So what do you guys think about that? The law in the USA is heavily influenced by English Protestant Christianities of 1500s. Yes. I think so. I think that they have an influence. Although I would say the European Enlightenment probably has a more overriding influence than the people who came to America. And of course, those people were touched by the European Enlightenment. Of course, of course they were. But actually, I was studying. I'm writing my senior philosophy thesis on a thinker called Hugo Grotius, and Hugo Grotius was basically a Dutch jurist, quasi-philosopher, who innovated European natural law. And in that innovation of European national law, Hugo Grotius. Oh, Alexandra, thank you again. You are just showering me with these super chats. Thank you again. It's a blessing. Thank you. But yeah, so Grotius is considered an innovator of natural law. And whenever you read a study on natural law, 17th century natural law at least, you're going to see some reference to Grotius. Some reference. It's going to be there. It's almost like every single person is either responding to Grotius, or they're influenced by Grotius, or whatever. And John Locke is actually a distant student, of course, of Grotius. And so a lot of John Locke's ideas were actually imported from Grotius and refined to John Locke's ideas of the state of nature. And of course, Locke, Grotius, and a lot of other of Grotius's contemporaries actually influenced profoundly the American founding, because Thomas Jefferson and James Madison all read Grotius as well. But he is so not often talked about. He's so often ignored. I think him and his contemporaries are so often ignored. Um, so I just, you know, I just, yes, he was. Yes, he was. And Andrew, I think that he studied a lot in political theory classes and sometimes international relations classes, but I don't think a lot of philosophers take him up. And that's a tragedy to me. So I'm doing my thesis on him. Thinkers like that get me motivated. Thinkers like natural law thinkers, they get me motivated. They get me motivated. They get me really motivated. But these days, all anyone wants to talk about is Nietzsche. Nietzsche and Camus and all the existentialist philosophers. They are all the rave these days. And I don't look at, I have said this for a long time. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. Nietzsche was an absolute madman. Absolute madman. Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, I think a lot of the natural law theorists, barring Locke, are pretty difficult to read. Andrew, I think. Um, I enjoy it personally. But I think for the common man, yeah, or even for the academic, it can be a lot to work through. So yeah, but I do think that he is indispensable to having an understanding of the moral foundations of the Republic and the moral foundations of the ideas of natural rights. Jenny, how are you doing? It's Jenny from the block. I'm just kidding. Um, I'm just kidding. Jenny from the block, man. Jennifer Lopez. I don't know, man. I when I was younger, 14, 15. I'm 20 now. I'm gonna be 21 in May. Well, hell, it's already May. In a few weeks. I had a thing for listening to early 2000s pop music, and I really liked Jennifer Lopez when I was younger. I've kind of grown out of it because, like anything, when you mature, your tastes mature, and you recognize that there's a lot of depth in the world, and maybe your taste should somewhat reflect that depth, I guess. And so, but anyway, when I hear Jenny's getting inky with it, I think, okay, Jennifer Lopez. you know. And hey, she's a very talented woman. She's a very talented woman. I'm not taking that away from her. I just don't think that I'm not I'm not I don't think that anyway. They see Nietzsche as a modern and the pre-Nietzsche philosophers as too antiquated. Yeah, I guess so. Do people see Nietzsche as a modern though? I'm not sure about that. I think I don't know. Do they? Because Nietzsche had a heavy influence on a lot of postmodern ideals, even if he wasn't himself entirely in for the postmodern ideals. He had a lot of influence on them. In fact, I think Foucault was like a neo-Nietzschean or something like that, a disciple of Nietzsche. And Foucault's all about power and things of that sort. So, oh Jenny, stop. Give yourself credit. I'm sure you are a gorgeous human being. I think everyone's gorgeous, really. I do. And that sounds cliche, but I think everyone has a, if your soul is right, and the soul is simply the being that rests behind this coil of flesh, this mortal coil that you see on the outside. If your soul is beautiful, then you are a beautiful human being. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people don't see it like that, and a lot of institutions in society drive this perception that the soul doesn't matter at all. And I think that's wrong. It's wrong, and I hope we can reverse the tide, the conceptual tide, back to an understanding of nature, who we are at the essence of our being, rooted up in our bodies beneath this mortal coil, then taking that essence and exuding it outward. Don't know either of their philosophical theories as a country. Don't call yourself that, Matt. Hey, we don't do self-deprecation here in the Watson space. We don't do that. We love ourselves. Or we try to, at least. We try to love ourselves. We don't. We love ourselves here. Emer de Vital, who is a natural law theorist, a student of Hugo Grotius, he says that self-love is rational self-love is the foundation for every other interaction in the world. Rational self-love. What does that mean? That means considering who you are, appreciating it, and then holding that value of appreciation and consideration with you in every single interaction that you have with every single human being. And at the root, at the very bottom, at the very bare of your interactions, it's still going to be an appreciation for yourself. So it's a kind of self-interest that does involve other people. It's not an isolationist or a atomistic idea. It's a self-interest that involves other people. Now, I say you should love yourself. I'm one of the most insecure people that I know. Just being honest with you. I'm one of the most insecure people that I know. Whether it's my hairline or I'm insecure. But it's okay. I'm okay with that. No, I'm not okay with that. But still, I'm okay with the process. I think that every human being, no matter how they look, is insecure. Every human being. Oh, Zachary. Oh my gosh, dude. How have you been? How have you been? It's been a while. It's been a long while, man. How have you been? Good to see you, Zach. Oh my gosh. Jesus Christ. My God, it's been a long while. How you been, man? How you been? Yeah, that's right. I think that's right. I think that's right, Andrew. And I think that Vital would say, beyond this, the personal self-love, he would say the personal self-love connects with the social self-love. And the social self-love necessarily brings you into contact with other people. But you shouldn't sacrifice your personal self-love for the social self-love because you need that as the fundamental ordering principle of your being. People need to read these natural law theorists, man. I'm not joking. You guys need to read these people. Forget Nietzsche. Forget all of them. Forget Camus. Forget Noam Chomsky. Forget all of them. You need to read these guys for now. Not saying never read those guys. You can read them later, but forget all that stuff. You guys need to read the natural law people. In fact, I'm gonna give you guys a link. Excuse me, my hotkeys are everywhere. My hotkeys are going everywhere. Excuse me. My hotkeys are going everywhere. Hold on. My hotkeys are going everywhere. Excuse me. Yeah, if you guys saw me switch, just because the hotkeys are just going everywhere. So, hot legs. If you guys know who Rod Stewart is, you know the reference. Hot legs. Hot legs. Miss shoes, baby. Yeah, hot legs. I love you, honey. Dun 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 dun. You gotta know this waste of time. I swear they don't make them like they used to, man. Rod Stewart. I think he's coming to Georgia soon. I might go see him if I can. You promised all kinds of fun, but they don't understand. I'm a working man. Gonna need a shot of vitamin E. By the time you're finished with me, I'm talking to you. Hot legs. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. All right, there we go. I swear, you don't. It doesn't get better than Rod Stewart, man. That guy is such a brilliant musical luminary, in my opinion, at least. Perhaps he was more brilliant, closer to the earlier part of his career. I liked his more pop stuff too. I don't mind pop. A lot of rock people were like, I don't listen to pop. Well, I don't mind pop. I don't mind pop. I mind. I like it. I don't mind pop. You know, first cut is the deepest. First cut's the deepest. I don't. That's some cool stuff. All right. Okay, so that is a link to the theorist I just talked about, Emer de Vital. And if you're curious about what natural law is, and natural law is essentially the foundational principle of the Constitution. If you're curious about it, you want like a very clear explanation of what it is, click that link. It's a part of a broader book that he wrote called The Law of Nations, in which he applies natural law to broad macro transactions between nations and diplomacy. But I do think that you guys could benefit from it. All right, I just watched an interview with some of the Oak Island theorists, and one mentioned a Jewish rabbi from like the 1100s who was. I have not studied Jewish philosophy actually. I need to. It's been on my bucket list. The Kabbalah, the Jewish mysticism, all that kind of stuff has been on my bucket list. I need to get to that. I need to go look for some good books to read about that. You grew up in the country? No, I didn't actually. I actually grew up a lot in the suburbs. Thank God. I come from the hood. Just being honest with you, my origins are in the hood. And Andrew, you don't gotta buy it. It's all there. It's all in the Liberty Fund link. It's all there. It's all there. I'm not sure if you can buy that book actually. It's pretty obscure. But let's see. Maybe you can buy it. Hey, I don't know. Maybe you can buy it. Yeah, Amazon has it, I think, but it's about dude. I would just read it on the website link. Bob, hello, sir. How are you? It's been a while. Well, this hasn't been a while. You've been very active and showing up in the comments in my videos. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. I really appreciate your viewership. I appreciate all of you, by the way. Yeah, Andrew, you can read the entire thing on that link I sent you. So you won't really need to buy it. You don't really need to buy it. You won't need to buy it. You can read the entire thing of that link. All right. Yeah, oh no, it's very long. So what they did, Andrew, they have the Law of Nations, which is Vital's magnum opus. Then they have an essay he did, a few essays he did, and some correspondences. It's close to 1,000 pages. And I won't lie, I've not read the entire thing. I've read bits and pieces, and I'm writing an essay tonight that I'm citing Vital in. Podcast series you'll love, a rationalist critique of Greek demystifying. Okay, yeah, I'll have to look into that, Bob. I'll have to say that. I'll say that suggestion actually, because again, I don't. Funnily enough, I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts. Isn't that funny? I make podcasts. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. So let me run down a list of podcasts that I do listen to actually. So I listen to Dark Horse sometimes. I think Dark Horse is actually on right now. I listen to it sometimes. Brett and Heather are pretty smart people, obviously. And I like hearing them discourse about certain issues. I listen to a podcast called PSA Stitch on Daily. I'm not sure if you guys know who that is, but who they are. It's PSA Stitch and Adam Friended. They do a podcast every Sunday, and I think that they are brilliant. Well, okay. I think that they are pretty good at what they do. I don't want to use the term brilliant too loosely, but I think they have good stuff. Um, I listen to the Glenn Beck podcast. Glenn Beck is pretty good. I like him. I think that sometimes he can be a little bit. He uses hyperbole a little bit more than I would like him to, but I think Glenn Beck's okay. I like him. I like him a lot. I don't listen to any other podcasts, guys. Glenn Beck, PSA Stitch, and Brett Weinstein. That's about it. I just I just don't. So I guess I need to kind of increase my podcast diet, right? I guess that's probably a big thing on my list. I got to do, but we'll get there eventually, shall we? We shall get there eventually. Grew up on a rural farm. Hey, that's a certain kind of life, man. It's a certain kind of life. Look, the pastoral life is nothing to sneeze at, in my opinion. Too many folks are very critical of the pastoral life. Wow, okay. There we go then. There we go. There we go. Well, I'll have to look into it then. But I must say thank you, all 11 of you, for spending your weekend, or a part of your weekend with me. It's a blessing. And thank you guys who have sent in the super chats. Alexandra, thank you so much. You are helping me continue my work, and I appreciate it. I'm sorry that I have been a little bit absent over the past day or so. As I mentioned to people who came here earlier, I am going to be on Benjamin Boyce's show either tonight or tomorrow. Well, I was already on Benjamin Boyce's show. It'll post either tonight or tomorrow, and I'm very excited about that. Benjamin Boyce is, again, as I mentioned before, a cut above excellence. He has some of the most fascinating conversations in the contemporary public discourse right now. So I'm grateful for him. I'm grateful for you guys. You a fan of Bastiat? Who? Bastiat the theorist or Bastiat the Twitch streamer? Yeah, I know Brittany. Coleman Hughes did a show with her. Bastiat the theorist or Bastiat the Twitch streamer, Zach? Which one? The theorist or the Twitch streamer? I don't know. I don't know which one. I like the theorist. Wow. Oh God. Wow. Wow. Thank you, Bob. Damn. Whew, man. Christ. Jesus. Wow. Bob, thank you again. Thank you. My lord. Jesus. You guys are the best. You guys take care of me, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You again, Bob. You guys allow me to do this important work. You allow me to do this important work, man. I swear. Oh God, man. You guys allow me to do this important work. Thank you. Jesus. Wow. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Thank you. Dang it. Whoo, man. I'm guys, look, this is only my second time streaming while being monetized. So you have to understand this is very new. But again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are not little people. There's no such thing as little people. Well, I guess there is biologically, but still, they matter too, though. They matter too. They matter too. Right? What did Yoda say? Size matters not. That's what he said. And I like Yoda. I trust Master Yoda. I'm showing my nerd side, excuse me. Anyway, yes, no, of course I like Bastiat. I like Bastiat a lot, Zachary. Now, he has an essay called Community and Individualism and Fraternity. which is very critical of individualism, and I don't like it. I think that he's wrong. I think a lot of his economic conclusions are pretty good though. Um, Individual. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, let me post it for you guys. All right. You are hilarious, Jenny. Oh my lord. Oh my gosh. Oh god, Jenny. My lord, you guys are a mess. Bup, bup, bump. All right. So that's Bastiat's musings on individualism. But no, he has some good essays. He has some good essays. What is seen and what's unseen. The Law is obviously a classic one. So yeah, I like Bastiat. I do read him. I've read him. He's pretty. If you want an answer to the Rousseaus and the Voltaires of the world, Bastiat's your guy. I think if you want it in the French tradition, he's actually one of the few rays of sanity in the French tradition. But yeah, that essay right there is his attack against individualism. I think it's ridiculous. I might do that, Alexandra. I might do that. I might do that. I want to kind of wait till like the subscriber count's a little bit bigger, but I might do that. Why not? I've never heard of halves before, Jenny. Yeah, I'm gonna do a locals. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna ask Carlin for advice on how to do it because I don't. Again, I know that locals is Dave Rubin's platform, his answer to Patreon. So yeah, I'll do locals. I don't mind. I'll do locals. Yes, Tocqueville was quite critical of individualism, Zachary. He attacked a straw man, I think. He kind of linked Americans' individualism to solipsism. But America's individualism is absolutely not solipsism, or at least individualism as it is conceptualized in the framework of American values is not solipsism. All individualism really is an understanding of oneself as the primary unit of society, while still, in that system, understanding the value of other people. That's all it is. It's not existing independent of society and thinking that you run the world. It's not disregarding everyone else. It's not self-absorption. It's simply placing a lot of value on who you are, on yourself, and on the rights and the rationality that all those things entail. That's all it is. But there have just been so many theorists who have just created these straw men and have just attacked and ripped out and tried to destroy individualism. I'm thinking to myself, you guys are not attacking what individualism actually is. It's nonconformity that recognizes the importance of having relationships. Well, how do you conform without having relationships? It's very simple. You bring what you can have to the table, and they bring what they have to the table. You don't you don't try to become them. They don't try to become you. You recognize your value. You know. So I just all the attacks. I just took a philosophy class on individualism in the world. We read Nietzsche. We read who else? We read Kierkegaard. We read Plato. How many people did we read? A lot of people. A lot of people. I'm just trying to rest after that very long, intense class. Not positive obligations, Zachary. So when I say positive obligations, I mean not an obligation that would merit me to give something to you. Negative obligations, yes. Negative obligations, yes. Meaning an obligation to refrain from hurting other people, to refrain from hurting, yeah, that, yes, we are born with that, and that's actually, I think that's essential to natural law theory. Now, there is a natural law theorist called Samuel von Pufendorf that believes that the natural law only exists in relation to other people, only exists in relation to sociability. Yeah, I don't believe in positive obligations, Zachary. Not any. I don't believe in positive obligations that you didn't yourself consent to. And this is kind of a divide between the traditionalist conservative and the libertarian. The traditionalist conservative will say, no, 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 no. We inherently have positive obligations by virtue of us being in society. Those bonds of the family and of everything else that we didn't even consent to, we still have those things regardless of anything else. The libertarian says, well, we have obligations to not interfere, but those positive obligations cannot really be obligations in themselves if I didn't choose them, if I didn't go through the process of actually wanting to obtain those obligations. You're kind of forcing me into a compact that is immoral in that I didn't consent to it. Now, this idea has many implications, of course. Government implications about all kind of things. But I think it comes down to the issue of consent. So no, I don't believe in positive obligations that you didn't choose. Now, if you chose them and you consented to them, sure. I have a positive obligation to each and every one of you to keep making videos because I chose to get in this world, and I chose a schedule, and I chose all these things. I chose to do this stuff. No one forced me to make a YouTube channel. So I do have positive obligations. No. So. Have you listened to V50 or Human Action Principles by Jay? No. It's an interesting story. Okay, I gotta make notes when I talk to you, Bob. I gotta make notes. Who is it? Okay. V50. Human Action. Okay, I gotta make notes. Shoot. Principles. J. Nelson. Andrew. Shoot. Okay, there we go. And yes, let me say, guys, if you could possibly please. Carlin says smash the like button. I don't say that. Click the like button, please. Get us up to, I don't know how many we have, Carson. How many do we have, Carson? I don't know how many we have. But get us up to however many likes we want. Let's make sure we can get, let's get to 50 by the end of the stream. 50 likes by the end of the stream. We can do it. All right, Alexandra. Alexandra, you are blessing me today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Damn it, there's no appropriate super sticker to show. Oh, Alexandra, you're blessing me today. Thank you. I appreciate it. You are blessing me. Bob, you blessed me. You guys are just blessing me constantly today, man. Jesus have mercy. Thank you. Zachary, it is the right thing. Okay. It's a good thing to save them if you have the possibility, if you possibly can. The problem with positive obligations, though, is that they don't take into account individual circumstance. If someone is disabled and is not able to swim, this sort of universal positive obligation couldn't possibly be fulfilled by them at all. Not even in a little bit. It just couldn't possibly be fulfilled by them. But to answer your question, no, you don't have an obligation to save someone else. You don't have an obligation. No. It's a nice thing to do, but you have no obligation. A lot of us conflate niceties with obligations. And as I mentioned, you run into some conceptual problems when you conflate niceties with obligation. I love people, man. I love people. And I want to make sure that I can be a helping hand to anyone that I possibly can be. Because that's my heart. But when you talk about obligations, you're talking about a sort of metaphysical principle here that is not really justified in a moral way. And is not really stable or concrete because it does not take into account circumstance and could possibly change depending on what circumstance or what mood is happening at the particular time. I can't. Obligation cannot be a moving target that you have to hit, you know, whenever it pops up. Because that's not obligation, that's something else. So, no. I know you're not. Not legal obligations. Talking about moral obligations. Talking about moral obligations. Absolutely. And I don't think you have a moral obligation to do that. Oh, Carson, man. Carson, I keep telling you, man. Don't do that. Damn it. Thank you, Carson. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you, Carson. I encourage all of you, please go check out Carson's channel, guys. Carson is a dear friend of mine. All the editing you see in my videos, this brilliant man does it. I encourage you, please check out Carson's channel. Please do. He makes great content. He does brilliant work. I love him to death. Please check out Carson's channel. I'm using the word. Exactly. Exactly. Right. Right. I think you're right, Bob. Yes. I think you're right. I think you're right. Yep. You guys are just blessing me and blessing me and blessing me, man. I appreciate it immensely. I do. I do. I do. And you know, you guys make me feel more comfortable about what I'm doing every day. You know, I feel comfortable with you guys. If everything goes right, I think this is going to be our breakout year, guys. Look, I think this debate in the chat is very important. I think the nature of moral obligation is very important. It is. It's very important. It's a very interesting thought experiment, too. How about positive moral obligations? Well, okay, if it's contextual, and this is a view that Aristotle would believe this too. If it's contextual, then I still think you run into problems. Because then the obligation changes on the basis of context, and therefore it's not really stable. And that could possibly overextend the individual's power and will to an end they may not be able to accomplish. I think consistency is a very important thing when we're talking about obligations and moral duties. Look, I'm a deontologist. And for those of you who don't know what that is, I'm someone who believes that ethics is about following moral rules and systems that are absolute and resolute. I'm a deontologist. I'm not a consequentialist, not a utilitarian. I'm a deontologist. So I take this idea of moral obligations very, very seriously. Very seriously. Because it's an interesting thought experiment, really. I think it is. Do I think applied morality is a complex problem? What do you mean by implied morality? What do you mean by applied morality? Do you mean like morality and practice? I don't know what you mean by that. But yes, so yes, I agree with you, um, Alexandra. I feel good about this year too, man. I, and look, a lot of people have been urging me to do more debates. And so I want you guys' opinion on this. Should I do more debates? Because look, here's my thinking. I cast my lot as a collegiate debater for the first 3 years of my collegiate career. I, and in doing that, I developed some skills. And these skills have given me the ability to advocate for my ideas, I think, in a way that is somewhat effective. Especially compared to how most political pundits advocate for their ideals. And I think that debating can help me put those skills on display. But I think there is a danger because many debaters simply want to destroy or beat the other guy rather than actually understand the truth about an issue. For me, debate is a mechanism that brings us closer to the truth, or it should at least. But for so many people, debate is simply a way to win a game. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. Yeah, there may be some lag going on here, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be all right. Yeah, you are misrepresenting me, Zachary. I think you are, but it's all right. Yeah. Moral decisions are not really simple, but I don't think they can really be contextual either, for the reasons I said. If you want consistency, at least. Because moral decisions don't simply exist in a vacuum or whatever. I mean, moral decisions really exist, I think. You know, they have impacts on human understanding. They do. And on how we perceive the world. And it's important to understand that. Alexandra, thank you so much. Your support is a blessing. Thank you so much. Um, thank you. You are. Thank you. What in the world is ETH? Okay, but hold on. What's that? Carson, I don't know. ETH. What's that? Ethereum? What? So Carson, as I mentioned before, actually I've not mentioned this before. Look, I think countercurrencies are a great thing for attempting to assert individual power over one's means of transactions. And I kind of agree with Samuel Edward Konkin because this idea really comes from Samuel Edward Konkin's um, New Libertarian Manifesto, which is, I have it right here. Hold on, crap. Oops. Yep, there we go. Boom. This guy, he set the moral groundwork for all cryptocurrencies. This book is a blueprint for how to develop a quote-unquote counter economy. He set the groundwork for this. And I think that's and look, I don't really agree with Konkin on a lot of things. He's an anarchist, I'm a minarchist, I don't really agree with him on a lot of things. But I think that there's value in having control over your means of transaction and having control over your commercial intercourse. There's value in that. And so, I suppose my general opinion is that, look, any currency that allows people to trade amongst themselves outside of the imprimatur of the government, for me, is a good thing, because they are removing themselves from an immoral transaction, well, not an immoral, from a transaction that imposes upon them, right? In a bad way. Rob, man, good seeing you, man. Good seeing you. No, I don't think Tonkin's right on this one, man. Oh, he's right on the cryptocurrency thing. Absolutely, I agree with him on that. But I don't accept his premises, man. I think, hell, no, I'm not sure about all that. That's funny, Bob. That's probably right. No, it's not right. Actually, it's not right. No, that's not right. That's not right. I don't know. Yeah, I've been a minarchist for about a year now, and look, I listen to all kind of anarchist arguments, and a lot of them sound convincing at first, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. This guy is who I would listen to. This guy right here. This guy right here. The sort of father of minarchism. And I'm actually reading right now. There's some heavy concepts in that book, man. Whether it's the minimax principle for understanding state of nature theory. I mean, it's just brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff in that book. You're funny, Rob. You are funny, Rob. You're funny, man. Who is Liquid Zulu? What kind of a name is Liquid Zulu? What kind of a name is Liquid Zulu? What the heck? Okay, hold on. What is Liquid Zulu? What in the world? Okay, let's see what this liquid. Is that some sort of product from the African what? That was Liquid Zulu. Okay, 151 subscribers. Okay, that's fine. I was there once. Okay. Liquid Zulu. Okay. Let's see what these guys got here. Okay. Let me show this. Okay. Liquid Zulu. Socialism is when the government does stuff, and how state capitalism, this might be a response to that. Okay, I don't know why monopolies won't form an. Okay, I don't understand. I kind of agree with this guy on a lot of stuff. Is he an anarchist? Yeah, he's an anarchist. Okay. Huh. Huh. Diapers. Okay. Carson, you got any other suggestions for me, buddy? I can't do that one. I'm sorry. Look, you gotta take yourself seriously if you're gonna do stuff with me. You gotta take yourself seriously. I've not watched his stuff, but on first specs, you gotta take yourself seriously when dealing with me, man. I'm sorry, you just got to. How does one ethically justify military? So so what Nozick tries to do, Bob, is that he tries to say that the state would naturally arise from even the most pessimistically conceived. These are his words. The most pessimistically conceived idea of the state or the state of nature, and the most optimistically conceived idea of the state or the state of nature. And what he's trying to say is that ultimately the existence of the state is a voluntary thing, even if the state uses force, in that it would arise under voluntary mechanisms if there were no state. Now, what he does to make this proposition, he kind of goes very, very abstract. And he even says, look, this is a meta-theoretical proposition, and the theory itself is going to be more convincing than the arguments I make for the theory. Something like that. He says something like that. I think that's a very interesting thing to ponder. Because if the state is conceived in a voluntary manner, then the question becomes, can we keep that sense of voluntary action alive in the state as this new minarchist state continues to move throughout the ages, continues to move throughout society? And I think the answer is, under the right conditions, yes. Yes. I think so. I think so, Bob. Under the right conditions, I do. Yeah, but I think that you can kind of, and he even says in the preface to Anarchy, State, and Utopia, he kind of says others need to pick up where I left off. This is not going to be a moral or philosophical treatise. This is an exploration, and that's how Nozick was. He was a very much of a not wishy-washy, but he didn't want to be the source of dogma. And this was a criticism that Murray Rothbard had of Nozick in the Ethics of Liberty. It was that Nozick was too wishy-washy, and his wishy-washy, um, you know, and his wishy-washiness is a bad thing. Right, well, because I think that it's a theoretical proposition, though, Bob. I think it's okay to interact with a theoretical proposition with a with a theory. I mean, state. I think that Nozick, again, I agree with you. He does kind of do this sort of reframing and a sort of evasiveness, but at the same time, I think he treats the idea of the state of nature as a theoretical proposition, and then tries to use a sort of meta-theoretical understanding of it to expand on it and see how the state has its origins. I don't think that's an unreasonable approach, Bob. And for those of you who do not know what we're talking about right now, it's like sort of like an insider baseball thing. So I'm talking about the theorist Robert Nozick. Robert Nozick was a minarchist theorist. A minarchist is simply a libertarian who believes in a very, 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 very limited state that is basically restricted to like contracts and protection against theft and military stuff, and that's about it. Everything else is privatized. And so minarchy is basically just one step away from anarchy. And Nozick is considered to be the father of minarchy. And he was a brilliant philosopher. He taught at Harvard. He was president of the American Philosophical Association. And his magnum opus, Anarchy, State, and Utopia, kind of articulates the sort of vision for a limited state. And in the beginning of Anarchy, State, and Utopia, he considers the question, why state of nature theory? And he goes through all these propositions. And he has this sort of theory within a theory. And it's complex stuff, but I enjoy it personally. He uses the minimax principle and everything to see, try to see, okay, how, under what conditions would a state of rise in a state of nature. Anyway, so yeah, for those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, that's what's going on. It's kind of insider baseball, I know, but, you know, these are the kind of conversations that occur in the Watson space, so. I hope that I captured a lot of Nozick's thoughts on the matter correctly, Bob. You've read them, so let me know, because I've read through. I've not read through the entire thing of Anarchy, State, and Utopia, but I've read good chunks of it. I think, and Nozick just makes it very clear what he's trying to say. It makes it very, very clear. He's actually a lot clearer than a lot of philosophers are. It makes it very clear what he's trying to say. Even though he goes through it through a very thorough mechanism using symbolic logic and things of that sort. But he makes it clear at the beginning. Okay, here's what I'm trying to establish. Here's how I'm going to do it. Well, yeah, I think that the idea that the state is parasitic. So the idea is going to be so again you would have to, under the right conditions, I think that the night watchman state can exist and not be predatory under the right conditions. We have to understand the state does not exist in a vacuum, though. The state is manned by individuals. Individuals have mentalities, really, and so as cultural mentalities expanded in their idea of the government, so did the government. The New Deal was the biggest expansion of the government in the history of the country, which is why it literally spawned libertarianism. The New Deal was the biggest expansion of the government in the history of the country. So, Bob, thank you again. I appreciate it. Much love, my friend. Much love. Thank you. Hope you come back for our next stream, which will be, I don't know when it will be. But thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep commenting because the videos, they need your insight. Thank you. Edward, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? I gotta get back to you on something. I've been swamped. All right, guys, Q&A time. Ask me anything. Ask me anything within reason, and I will answer. I will wrap up in about maybe 20 more minutes here, but just ask me anything and I will answer. Q&A time. Let's go. Let's go. I will wait patiently. It's Q&A time, guys. Come on. Ask me anything. Saudi Arabia as a... Okay, let's go. Let's break this down. The House of Saud has had enormous moral latitude to do so many atrocious things in their country and even abroad, whether it is financing the manufacturers of 9/11, whether it's consistently denying women their natural rights or trying to deny them their natural rights, whether it's whatever it is doing, whatever it is, whether it's wallowing in its theocratic filth. The House of Saud has been actively aided and abetted by the West, by the United States, because of the oil interest there. And I think that is just that's not desirable. I don't think it's not desirable, because when you sponsor someone for a particular good, you're doing a few things actually. You're kind of using them. You're not really willing in that moment to see your own good. The United States has a lot of natural gas reserves that if we tap into them fully, we would be we would be fully 100% energy independent. So on that level, I think that it's condemnable. On a cultural level, I think that it's also condemnable. Again, if you operate in a theocratic state in which you view the human condition solely through a narrow view, a narrow religious view that is not challenged by any institution, or it's not allowed to be challenged by any institution, then you're operating in an environment that is ripe for falsehood. So, I have no love for the Saudis, for Saudi Arabia. Now, if you're from Saudi Arabia, nothing against you, but like the nobles, the kings, the princes, I have no love for them. No love for them. Does pineapple go on pizza? In my opinion, it does not. Personally, I guess that's a controversial opinion. I don't know, but in my opinion, it does not. I typically just get cheese pizza. In all honesty, extra cheese. That's all I get. I'm a very, very, very basic person when it comes to that kind of stuff. I love pizza; it's delicious, but I don't like too many toppings. Not anymore, at least. So that's my opinion. How much do I have to pay you to debate Liquid Zulu? On what, Carson? What do you think makes combat sports so popular? Good question. I don't know. I don't know really, but I guess if I could just generalize, I think a lot of people have a fascination for a reality that seems to detach from their own. I don't think a lot of people in the West actively fight people on a daily basis, or for sport, or for at all. And I think seeing that play out in reality is both entertaining, enticing, and a reminder of what life really isn't. I think rap music can be that same way too. Hearing someone talk about Xanax and pills and women and having promiscuous sex, um, a lot of that, it's a reality that most people cannot live, but it's enticing. It's enticing. I think that's why it's just enticing. What are your thoughts on Ayn Rand? I think she's brilliant. Now, I think that her metaphysics are off. I do believe in God 100%. She's wrong about that. But I think that her emphasis on the individual is brilliant. Her way of understanding understanding reality is good. Again, minus the non-God part. Her way of understanding ethics is pretty good. There are some disagreements I have with her. That's why I'm not an objectivist fully, at all, or actually at all. But I do have some influences from Ayn Rand. Yes. Can a monarchist state have a realist foreign policy and remain safe? A realist foreign policy. You're gonna have to define what that term means for me, because I think there are a lot of international relations terms that I have no clue about. Which is I have not studied international theory as much as I possibly should have. Debate socialism done left. No. I know exactly who that is. No, sir. No, sir. So here's the thing about him. He's outraged. God have mercy. Okay. Sock Done Left is just an outrageous person. He's outrageous. He has these streams called Femboy Fridays, where like he dresses up as a girl and I'm not sure if he does them anymore, but when I used to watch him, he did that kind of stuff. And most of his audience is just there to lust over him. And I think that if you present yourself like that, there's a profound unseriousness in your message. Now, when he debates people, he's a little bit more serious, but I find that, and this is the case with most streamers, they seek information that will advance their points, even in the middle of a debate. I have seen Vosh, the socialist streamer, Google something in the middle of a debate, look up that on Wikipedia, and say, oh, that's the truth, without considering that the issue could be much deeper than what a Wikipedia article can capture. I think Sock Done Left does the exact same thing. The exact same thing. He's simply there to further his idea of socialism. And to pretend, I think, that he has moral superiority. And to do that while being outrageous. So, no, I'm not. I have no intention of debating Sock Done Left. No, sir. I mean, imagine if I did Femboy Friday. How would that work? How would that work out? Yes, Zach. I'll give you a very short answer. A monarchist state would still have the military, would still have diplomatic relationships, it would still have all that kind of stuff. But there would not be entangling alliances. There wouldn't be a broad sense of American military force across 900 plus countries around the globe, many of which don't even have armed conflicts. There would be a much more conservative understanding of the use of military force and power. But no, you would have a very strong national defense. And, coupling that with economic diplomacy, no, I think it would be perfectly safe. Hell, one of the reasons why China is not going to war with the United States right now is because it would crash their economy. China needs us as much as we need them. And that's an uncomfortable reality right now, but that is strictly because of economic ties. Under a monarchist state, that would be compounded tenfold. So yes, I think it could easily say safe. Yes, I do think that. Yes. But yeah, so what if I started doing Femboy Fridays, Edward? How the hell would that? How would that look? No, 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 no. I can't handle that kind of mentality. Um, I'll debate people, but just not people who are unserious. If you're unserious, I'm not going to debate you. I'm not going to waste my breath. He's just an unserious person. Profoundly unserious person. Now, many of you may not know who Sock Done Left is. And actually, here's what I'm going to do. Because I think it's important for you guys to know who these crazy people are. But it's really important for you guys to know who these crazy people are. Oh my gosh. Jenny, you're right. Thimble. Oh, my audience would flee in terror. My audience would flee in terror, and rightfully so. Who the freak wants to see a... Anyway. That is Sock Done Left for those of you who are unaware. That's him. I'm not going to waste my breath on that guy. No, sir. What if the minarchist state is a small state surrounded by expansionistic territorial state, and there is no country that enforces sort of Pax Americana? I mean... So you would still have deterrence options. Right? I mean... You would still have deterrence options, I think. So... But that's like saying, what if America had no ties to really to the world, and we were surrounded by a bunch of hostile people who hated us and wanted to destroy us right now? I mean, I think we could still survive, but that's an alien context because America's ties in the world are not only wide, they are very deeply entrenched. And a minarchist state can still have deeply entrenched roots in the world, theoretically. But if you remove that condition, then what you have is a focus on the homeland, and a focus on the homeland makes it even more possible to have national security, stronger national security. So, by relegating the focus of the minarchist military force to the homeland solely, not worrying about diplomacy or anything else, which, again, is a very alien idea, it would never happen, but for the sake of argument, you would have an even stronger national defense, I think, because resources are less dispersed. But as I was saying, Sock Done Left, I'm not going to do that. No. People have been telling me, Christian, go debate Vosh. Why? To get insulted? To get condescended? Why? To have a bunch of socialists coming on my channel insulting me and, oh, dude, your hairline is messed up. No, man, no. It's weird that people admire these folks. People admire Vosh and Sock Done Left. They admire them. They love them. It's weird. I guess my tastes are just very different. My tastes are just very, very different. But I find it peculiar, man. Just peculiar. But yeah, keep asking questions, guys. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, no, Jenny, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Yeah, what impact would I make by debating Vosh or Sogdon left? I would have a bunch of people who are already against me from the starting gate, opposed to me even more after they hear me talk about my libertarian stuff. They wouldn't consider my arguments or my propositions. They would just be blindly opposed. Dear God. No. We don't need that. Maybe later, when I get up an audience, maybe later. Maybe later. That's right. That's right. And what I like about you guys is that none of you treat me like that. You guys ask questions, you even challenge me, you know, you debate my ideas, and I like that. Because it shows you can still support me generally, but still disagree. People like Vosh and Stockton Left, they have idol worshippers in their camps. Oh, everything you say is right. But what's that old proverb? Iron sharpens iron. Their iron's not being sharpened in their day-to-day lives, because guess what? They're around an echo chamber. No, 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 no. Even Benjamin Boyce, who I love, he challenged me. You guys get to see the interview either tonight or tomorrow. He challenged the hell out of me. He challenged me, man. He asked questions that I had to think, huh, I never thought of that. That's what I want out of this career. No people idol worshiping, oh, Christian is the greatest. No, I'm not, man. I'm someone who has a passion and is trying to help all of you find what your passion is, your intellectual passion. Yeah, I think so. If I were going to debate Vosh or Sockdown Left, it would probably just be in an entirely Socratic fashion. I would channel Socrates and just begin asking questions. That's all I would do. Ask questions. And then let their own ignorance. What did Buckley say? Buckley said, give your opponent enough rope to hang themselves with. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Zach, that's a very complex question, man. I think, yes. If yes, I do. Yes, under general circumstances, yes. Until their children become self-directing beings, and when their children become self-directing beings, then hold on, yeah. Then it becomes consensual. Thoughts on the current state of the world caused by not enough real strife. Enough real strife or struggle in most people's life. Yeah, I think that's right, Josh. I think that a lot of people live in bubbles that don't really expose them to the harsh realities of life, and that shapes their perception of how the world should be. Solzhenitsyn said that happiness is not the ultimate goal of life. And, I disagree with Solzhenitsyn on a lot of stuff, but I think that he's correct about that. Life is about much more than simply being happy, right? That Mary J. Blige song, you know, all I really want is to be happy. Okay, yeah, but life is about much more than that. Life is a much more multi-dimensional experience than simply being happy. So yeah, makes sense. All I really want is to be happy. Zach, that's a very complex question. I I think that in the cases of rape, you know, let me circle back on that one, okay? It's a very complex question, and I want to treat it with all due seriousness. I don't want to just shoot from the hip and say, I'm going to treat it with all due seriousness. That's not a very easy question to answer. Not because it's a touchy issue, but because the moral dynamics that play in that issue are very multifaceted. So we'll answer that question later. Remind me, okay? um, I can quote the lyrics. I'm an alligator, something something something. You know, lost in a moon age daydream. Oh yeah, that's one of Bowie's best songs. Keep your electric eyes on me. You know, lost in a moon age daydream. Oh yeah, that's a good song. That's off of the Ziggy Stardust album. Keep your electric eyes on me, baby. It's a very good song. It's actually, I think that was the single release from that album, actually. I'll be a rock and rollin' for you. I can't sing the whole thing because he curses in half the song. Yeah, that's a good song. Good for you for knowing that one. Process Line. Good song. Good song. Even the paper crafting community has had political issues, but it gets shut down pretty quick. Suspect paper crafters are a little bit more conservative. Paper crafting community. I don't know. Hey, yes, I don't know. I'm sorry that the sound is off. I didn't know. We'll get it fixed. It'll get fixed later. It'll get fixed later. It'll get fixed later. See, I have so many technical issues when I do these streams. It's not even funny. So hello. It should be better now. Is it okay now? Jay. Should be good now. Should be good now. Hopefully it's good now. I just readjusted some things. Hopefully it's good now. Keep your electric eyes on me, baby. Yeah, if you have, well, look. So, in our current in our current system, it depends, right? Because the definition of a public space is pretty wide. Um, if you're like in a restaurant and the owner doesn't want you to be naked, then okay. And really, I think that when you're in a restaurant, people buy and rent space in a restaurant for like a particular period of time, and so their desires matter too. Um, Under our current, I, I think they're necessary because there are some people that could be. Then again, I don't know what counts as public decency though. If the public decency laws are simply trying to prevent something, which is what they're trying to do, that's a different conversation. If they're trying to instill something, they don't do that. I think that it is the biggest mistake for a law to try to instill virtue. So I don't think that they have a really pedagogical um, impact, Zachary. As far as the prevention, you could argue that children seeing certain things could be harmful to their development. Um, but If there are no children around, then what happens? So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd say it depends on the place, right? Because public is ultimately a composition of the context of that place, of the values of that place. It depends on the place. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Look, even though I'm a philosophy guy. I don't know everything. I don't know. And there are some questions that I lift up my hands and I say, you know what, man? No, I'm sorry, I don't know. So I'll think about it a little bit more. Yes, guys. By the way, if you're here, please like this video, please. Just 20, damn it. That's okay. Like the video, please. It helps me a lot. Helps the algorithm a lot. Helps my operation a lot. So, all right, guys. I'm probably gonna call it a day. Get to working on this essay that I gotta write tonight. But before I go, I need all of you to do one thing for me. Join the Discord, please. Carson, post the Discord link in the chat, please. Please do that. I want everyone to join the Discord. Join the Discord, please. Before I go, join the Discord. Frosted Slime, if you can. Anyone post a link in the chat, please. Actually, I'll do it. It's no problem. Join the Discord, please. Post it. If it'll load. Here we go. You will not regret it. You will be in good company with a lot of pensive people. So do that. I love all of you, by the way. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for, again, being a part of my journey, for being a part of my weekend, for being a part of my existence. It means a lot to me. It means a whole lot to me. And the love that I get from you guys on a daily basis is nothing short of inspiring. Thank you. Again, just thank you. Nothing short of inspiring whatsoever. Um, Genuinely. So, hello, Vibpor. How you doing? Hello. But so yes, I'm going to get going, guys. Again, I love you all to death. And I want you guys to still stick around with me. And still, we got some exciting content coming up over the next few days. And most importantly, my friends, most importantly, I want you guys to do one thing.